to be fair to our big users, we really need to have that accomplished prior to their budgetary process. And again, that's in August or September. So sometime between now and then, we should implement the rate increase if we're going to. Jumping to water, Clark mentioned a well. The well has been estimated by McClure Engineering at $2.7 million. And the water tower painting is in the budget, and it shows up on the capital improvement page on page 7 at $500,000. So that's in the budget at this point in time, but that also causes a deficit position in water, which shows up on page 2 as on nearly $400,000. So I want to point out, since Clark brought it up, it's $394,397 in a deficit position for water. Most of that is because we are including the entire $500,000 as a capital improvement in this year's budget.
For the water tower? For the water tower, Scott?
For the painting.
It's for the water, I'm sorry, it is for the water tower painting.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I appreciate, Clark, you bringing those items up. Thank you.
Scott, was 500 going to cover that water tower?
I believe it is. At least that was the original estimate, again, from McClure, because McClure did the new water tower. And at one point in time, we were going to have that contract as a sideburr underneath the new water tower erection, as well as the booster station. But at the last minute, we took it out because we didn't know if how well the project would go. And maybe we had a premonition because, as you all know, there was about a 13-month delay by Caldwell Tanks on getting that tower erected.
Yeah.
So it was a good call to take it out.
All right.
But it's now at this point, we're pretty assured that the new water tower is operating properly, is connected to the system, it's run through the SCADA system, which controls it, and everything seems to be operating correctly. So it's now a good time to take the old tower out of service and get it painted.
Sure. Okay.
That being said, I had talked to Rich Siddell about the process and the timing, and so including all $500,000 for the painting in FY19 is probably a little aggressive. It's going to take the vast majority of calendar year 18 in order to prepare the document, to go out for bids and take bids. And then we want to paint it in the opportune time of year. So that would be approximately June through August. So the cost on painting is probably going to be split between FY19 and FY20. And so that's going to be one of the items that I look at very closely and visit with McClure and come back to you on February 6th. If we could split that cost of $500,000 between 2 fiscal years, and I'm pretty comfortable that's what we should do.
Can I ask a question, and I think it's germane to this budget, so if June and July and August are the optimal time to be doing that water tower, that's also peak water usage. Is that going to be a problem, or is that okay? And Rich is here too, so I'd rely on either of you.
Yep, because of what you just said, I would much prefer to do it in June and July and not carry it into August.
Okay.
But that still splits the fiscal years in which we're going to pay for it.
Sure. Okay. And then one last follow-up on sewer. Is the dome in your summary there, Scott? You mentioned pumps and some different equipment, but I know the dome on the old plan is one of the big ticket items, but it's very much an item.
It is not included in this budget, so that would be a capital project during one of the significant renovations of the old plant.
Okay.
But that's a very good point. The domes on
So it's also just natural part of replacement, I mean,
Yes.
okay, all right. I got
This contract to the water tower, it's pretty obvious on the outside of the water tower needs painting. What does it look like inside? Do we have a clue? Does it hold up better inside than outside? And can we paint the inside separate from the outside if we need to?
That's tough to do, because of condensate and other things. We really need the tower empty even to paint the outside.
Okay.
And so it probably just makes, the most sense to take a look at the inside and outside and do the painting of both at the same time.
All right.
Okay, moving on. Does that answer your question, Ken?
Yes, thank you.
If Rich is in the room, maybe he could comment. I don't recall, so maybe he could prod his memory, if we've sent a diver into the inside of the tower, Rich.
Yeah, he's coming up.
I don't remember exactly what the date was on, but yes, we've sent divers in there. It doesn't look bad at all inside there. There's some minor blemishes that could be taken care of. We can't send a diver in there anymore because DNR requires now that if we do have to drain the tank or have a boiling odor until the bacteria has come back. So they don't even recommend us to send divers down right now. So we're fortunate that we have 2 towers now that we can take one out of service to do that. But we have had divers in there, and the tank is not in real bad shape at all. And it should be done both at the same time, inside and out, like Scott said.
Okay, thank you, Rich.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Okay, moving on to administrative and finance, Rex and John.
Yeah, well, John and I, and Scott and Bev for that matter, have talked a number of times, and we're gonna try to give you a little bit of a global overview here on the budget. We obviously wanna keep the mill levy at the same level, 12.5. That actually reduces the residential taxes by 2.3%. I'll say it again, that actually reduces the residential taxes by 2.3%. Then we get into some of the issues that Scott's brought up. We're a little concerned about our days for the budget, so that's why we put in a little extra reserve there. We're concerned that whether it be road use or economic development, we always get asked for money and don't have any money. And our biggest unknown concern is the people down in Des Moines. We have backfills in here at $273,000. They announced last week that they were 47 million for the year we're in right now. We don't know if the 47 million is gonna affect us as a city, affect the school district, affect the county. They're just gonna cut 47 million randomly. So that's a concern, but you know, myself going forward, if we were short 47 million last year, we're gonna be way short in what they're gonna collect for taxes for this year. Because with the federal tax changes, people did a lot of year-end tax moves that reduce their taxable, and that reduces the taxable for state and federal. So they don't even know how much less money they're gonna get for 2017 taxes, but they haven't concerned themselves with that yet. I don't understand why, but that's the way it is. So that's why even if we appeared to have some, I'll call it buffers, for lack of a better word, in different budget categories, I'm still not real comfortable that we've got a lot of excesses in a lot of places. We just gotta be real careful and mindful. You know, 200,000 on a $6 million budget is not significant, but when you're 200,000 short, 200,000 is pretty significant. So I think that's kind of what we've been saying, right, John?
Yeah, and also the general fund reserve of 130,000 partly justifies uncertainties at the state level too, so.
Yeah, you know, we've had it brought up numerous times by the CPAs that we don't have enough days in reserve. I've brought it up numerous times that I'm comfortable with having the days that we have, but I guess we're trying to move closer to having an adequate number of days.
Okay. Any questions? John, you have any more? Okay, thanks, Rex. Okay, then moving on to, I didn't catch the culture programs, and that's on page, what is it, 65? 61? 61, yeah. And that one is, what they allowed for the budget was utilities at the, an elevator phone at the art center, the contract services that were obligated for like the museum, the municipal, arts council, and historic, Mitsu, CASSA, Newcastle. And then the other one is operating supplies and improvements at the art center and postal playhouse. Those are things that, I believe those are in the budget, am I right? Were they in it, Bev?
The improvements are in there right now for 20 for the Arts Center.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I didn't
Or Jason?
send out the invitation to any of these.
No.
Their general requests haven't changed.
No, they don't do that. And these are matching.
The only other, I mean, you can see on your sheet that CAASA
Mhm.
is a new request, so that's someplace you haven't given money to.
That'll have to be addressed, yeah.
Who is that, Jason?
Centers Against Abuse and Sexual Assault.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, if things are going okay so far, we're gonna start right here with Greg, who represents the ambulance EMS service. Greg, questions you may have?
We're just gonna get rid of you guys row by row.
Yeah,
Okay. So just be ready when your row comes up.
Yeah, we know you got a lot of work ahead of you, so.
You get to the last guy.
That's why we did it that way.
As far as the ambulance goes, there was a little bit of an increase in training. We do have one individual gonna be going to the paramedic program. So Lamar's has an agreement in place for education that will pay 50% or up to $5,000 for that, with an agreement of being coming back to Lamar's and serving Lamar's for 4 years. Other than that,
So what about our billing system? We changed that, what, 3, 4 years ago?
Our
Is that
bill-
working pretty good?
our billing system's through PCC.
Yeah.
Everything's working really good with them.
Do they do a good job?
They do a really good job. The last record I seen was, and this is included in write-offs for insurance companies and everything, but they're getting a reimbursement rate of about 85% of what, and that goes off of billing versus what is allowed. You know, like Medicare only pays 60% of your bill. You write off the rest. Medicaid pays 18% of your bill. You write off the rest, so 85% is pretty good for. Questionable, again, on the state level on funding. They just changed all the grant processes. Bill goes to Sioux City, which is where he's at today, about 3 times a month to have meetings at the state level for our grants. Like 2 years ago, we got $19,000 in grants. Right now, we're guaranteed $5,000 for sustainable money for all of Plymouth County, which is 7 services. The other side of that is everything else is competitive, and we've been told that that $5,000 next year is going to be 100% competitive, and we're in a 5-county area, including in this area, it's Region 3B. So state funding is going down with EMS. You guys see in the news, they're trying to make it an essential service, because right now EMS, unlike fire and police, is not essential. You cannot tax for it. We do get some funding from the county. They give us a line item for all the county services to assist with $20,000 in training. And then we've requested $87,000, which is split up across the county by call volume, which Lamar's is the largest call volume. Last year we had 1,048 calls. We're also assisting Merrill now. One thing that was brought up in our budget committee meeting was how much more revenue are we gonna see from that? We've been assisting Merrill, it's been about 2 years with a simultaneous page process during the day. That has now come to a simultaneous page day and night. And we can show that Merrill was dispatched 52 times last year. We personally transported 22 patients out of Merrill's district. So I think we're already seeing that revenue from Merrill already in our budget, because we're still already hauling their patients and have been for the last couple of years.
So are those Merrill calls part of your 1,000 calls last year? They are.
Correct,
During-
1,048 calls,
Okay.
whether transport or non-transport.
So what happens when all these different little ones close down? And they just go totally out of business? Did we just not care
That's,
as a citizen?
as a citizen, it's
I
very
mean, we're not
concerning.
talking about one or two, we're talking, I think there's been a dozen within 150 miles of us.
It's very concerning
Just take a look at the county.
matter. In the county, we are watching it countywide. Basically,
It's you.
you're left to help them out.
Yeah.
But technically, we don't have to help them out,
Right.
but you do.
Ethically, we.
Ethically, that's the thing to do.
Well,
And right now, the way the state law states, when you get in a car accident, you're required to render aid and get them transported to a hospital, but there's no state law that says that an ambulance has to respond to any 911 call. So they're at the state level trying to change it. I know Bill goes to the state to meet with legislatures in February, but right now, there's nothing looking at being passed to change that. I've looked into the EMS's essential service. What ends up happening is the state can come and tell us that's an essential service, and there's 4 of them out there that have already deemed it an essential service, but then it's an unfunded mandate. You have to provide service. Now, counties, you're liable to figure it out.
Right.
Well, if it would ever come down to a countywide service, maintain possible profits, Plymouth County's got 1,500 calls. Lamar's has 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
Can Plymouth County go and pay for 12 ambulances? No. You're gonna have a couple ambulances in the county responding, and that's very
The
concerning.
open areas are just all going away. And the only ambulance services is a town, is a city.
Yeah.
Where they know they're gonna get so many, and basically they're running as a private enterprises now in those places.
Yeah.
Because they know they're gonna get that many calls. But, it shouldn't be that we're 20 miles north of Sioux City and all of a sudden 5 miles outside of town, they're screwed. That's not.
Yeah.
But, especially when we're paying what we're paying for health insurance, that's what my question is. Not that we can do something about it, but I just wanted to know if there was something, Bill's been down, meeting with them and all that kind of stuff, that's all.
Yep.
This is a very serious thing coming down the road, and it's gonna be a matter of time. Somebody better have a program kind of lined out of where we're headed for.
One thing that really hit Plymouth County hard, it didn't affect us because we are a paramedic service, but Sioux City Fire, Siouxland Paramedics used to be there. They came to the city and said, we're no longer gonna provide your service. Switched over to the fire department. Sioux City Fire will not leave town. to assist any other facility or small service with the paramedics. So we sat in a meeting, me and Bill, down at with a bunch of doctors at St. Luke's on how it was going to affect people, and I said, you guys don't understand. If you're at Mike's Saloon, Akron, Iowa's responding. They won't even drive 2 miles on this side to pick somebody up, and Dr. Majerus says, that's where I live. Yeah. You know, so we have a lot of backing, but we don't need a bunch of unfunded mandates either, so we gotta be careful in how it's confronted, so.
Thanks, Greg, I appreciate that.
Yep.
Brad, you're next in line. Public facing facilities, page 48. Am I right? Any questions? Nope. None? I see you've got a pickleball court possibilities of it.
That's still in there.
And that is new. I'll just bring you up to date a little bit of what started that. The pickleball court boys must be a common thing for Lamar's. It really is. And we've been approached by it. And what they are asking to set up a pickleball court of their own. They this past year worked it out with the tennis people, but there was a little conflict there between the